Let's move on to our third main topic today. And our third main topic today gets submitted to us by Jack Fitzgerald, who writes, after 5 weekends, Joker's global box office number sits at $934 million on an estimated budget of $55 to $70 million. I read someone's comment saying that Joker made more than 1/3 of Avatar's revenue on a budget 5 times less. It made more than 1/3 of Endgame's revenue on a budget 8 times less. Made almost half of Titanic's revenue on a budget 4 times less. So, does this make it one of the best theatrical runs in history? All right. Rob, you know, we've talked a bunch here on this show about how, look, nobody at Warner's, nobody in Todd Phillips' household, nobody in Joaquin Phoenix's household ever remotely dreamed that Joker would make this much at the box office. And yet it has. You know, to the point that I said, I don't think it's going to hit $1 billion, but it could. I thought, yeah, it could very definitely become the number 1 R-rated film. Well, I still don't think it'll hit $1 billion, but even more today, it's very clear it's possible. It's running out of steam quickly, but it's getting close to that finish line. But the $1 billion club aside, this is still a movie, Rob, that has not had a release in China. It's an R-rated film. Batman ain't in it, which is telling you, Venom won't work without Spider-Man. No one's going to see that. Here you go. No one's going to go see Joker without Batman. And here we are. Rob, can we say, now clearly at $930 million, it is not the biggest box office hit of all time. But when you do put it in context.
Oh, yeah.
And you look at all these things, can you sit down and legitimately make an argument that this, as far as a theatrical run goes, this has to be considered amongst the most successful films of all time? When you take all the factors into consideration, how would you address that?
100%. I mean, it's staggering because if you look at all the movies that went over $1 billion, those are effects heavy. The budgets were much bigger than this film. They were also, this is also, don't forget, R-rated. You know, so it's not exactly like this is a 4-quadrant film, fun for the whole family. You know, this is something that is truly unprecedented in Hollywood history. Now, it should not be underplayed that this is in fact a Batman movie. It is adjacent to the Batman franchise. And I think the fact that it is about one of the most famous comic book villains of all time, if not the most famous comic book villain of all time, that helps. So it's got the awareness. It's got, we've had this character for decades now. So that's part of it. I mean, it's who he is. But on the other hand, for the amount of money they spent, this is staggering, John. It's never happened before. And I would dare say, I'll bet when it comes out in the wash, if people, our viewer astutely pointed out, based on the metrics, this could very well be the most profitable movie ever made. Yeah, if you include it as a single film, you could say, okay, Star Wars was because look what happened with it. But if you just took it on a case-by-case basis, a single movie case, this movie could very well be the most successful film ever made. Percentages, yeah.
Because when you look at like Endgame, for example, its literal profit numbers are in the billions. It's literal profit. So Joker's not going to get there, but percentage-wise,
that's what I mean. Yes,
yeah, percentage-wise, it's absolutely phenomenal. And look, you said it, Rob, but it can't be overstated. R-rated, no Chinese release, no Batman. Everybody said well, what's the point? What's the point if it's not a part of the shared cinematic universe? Everything's got to be part of the shared cinematic universe. What's the point of doing it if there's no shared cinematic universe? Blah, 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 blah. It had all these hurdles to overcome, and it overcame them all. And I think, here's one of the things that I think is great about Joker. This is one of the, because you all know I love this movie. And I've been cheering for this movie since day one because, like, finally, please work so we can get DC and Marvel recognize we can make some standalone, outside of the comic book, shared cinematic universe movies and tell some great stories. But here's the other thing that why I think this Joker movie is an important movie, Rob. And I haven't said this much. I don't think I brought this up before. And people may disagree with me, and that's fine. And maybe I'm wrong. But this is why I think this accomplishment isn't just great. I think the accomplishment is important. I've said before that for the first number of years that I did AMC and things like that, I often felt that a part of my job was trying to convince people to give comic book movies a shot. You know, for a lot of the years that I did the movie blog and then some For Your Consideration, then I got into AMC, I felt like part of my job was trying to tell people, give comic book movies a shot. And I've expressed that, you know, for the last number of years, I felt like things have shifted, and now I feel like part of my job is to convince some people to give something other than comic book movies a shot. Everybody goes to see comic book movies now, but I think there's a lot of people who that's all they go see. They just go see the comic book movies, the big genre films. And I feel like a part of my job has been trying to convince people, guys, there's some awesome other cinema out there too. And one of the things I think is really important and magnificent about Joker is I think it is very much a non-comic book movie. You know, it is a movie that really highlights what other type of cinema out there, because it isn't a stereotypical comic book movie by any stretch. And I think one of the reasons why not only is this movie great, but why I think it's also going to be important in the long run is I think a movie like Joker is going to turn some people, like maybe a lot of people who've just by choice limited what they watch to the genre and comic book stuff. I think this movie is going to open up a lot of people to some possibilities of a lot of other great cinema. I think somebody might watch Joker and go, you know what? That movie Parasite didn't look like anything I would watch, but after seeing how cool Joker was in that very different way, I might give that movie Parasite a look. I might go check out that movie, or I might go check out that movie. There's so many good things, from comic book movies getting some standalone, isolated from the cinematic universe stuff, to just telling great stories, to maybe exposing people to other types of movies. This movie, I think 5, 6, 10 years from now, we're going to look back on Joker for a number of different reasons and saying that was a milepost kind of movie. That was a movie that shifted something, not tectonically, but shifted some little things here and there. And we're not just going to be talking about its money and how good the movie was, but how much of an impact. I think this movie is going to be one of those films that has a long-lasting impact on a lot of different areas. Anyway, guys, question is, what do you think about this run of Joker and the success that it's been having? Jump down into the comment section below and let us know what you think about that. All right.